Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kaylee. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited because we are going to be testing out and playing with the new Luna palette from Bad Habit. This just launched on Bad Habit's website just a couple of days ago. I went ahead and ordered it. It came in the mail yesterday, so I wanted to go ahead and get this review filmed and up for you guys as soon as possible. I'm super excited about this. This is the dupe for the Norvina palette. I'm just super excited. I think that this is stunning and I cannot wait to play with it. So I'm actually on my way out the door to work right now. So we're gonna keep it short and sweet. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and click that red button right down below. I would very much appreciate that. If you guys enjoy these types of videos, definitely give it a thumbs up so that I know. And if you have any other video recommendations for me, please leave them in the comments below. So if you guys are ready to see the review of the new Bad Habit Luna palette, then please keep watching and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so it is currently a little after 9 this morning, and I never film this early. I actually have to work tonight, so I'm closing at work, so I never film before work just because normally I do like super quick, really easy like work makeup when I'm going to work. So I just woke up, I was feeling good, I had a little bit of extra time, and I thought, why not go ahead and get this video filmed for you guys? So I've got my coffee in hand. We've got a new palette to play with, and I just did all of my base makeup here, and I actually had to take my foundation all the way down onto my neck because I just got the new Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation, and that is what I'm trying today. Of course, none of my local Ultas had this in the store, so I had to order it online. Of course, every time I try to order a foundation online, it's never the right shade. So if you guys want a review of this foundation, I can definitely do one, as I don't really have any other videos besides this one really planned coming up. I'm just kind of like stuck for ideas on what to do right now. So if you guys have any video requests for me, please leave those in the comments below because I want to do videos that you guys want to see. If you guys don't know about Bad Habit, real quickly, it's a brand that basically kind of like dupes other makeup products. So anytime a larger new like eyeshadow palette or something launches, Bad Habit kind of like dupes that palette, and they try to come up with really similar shades and create a palette that's half the price usually. I'm sure you can kind of tell with the color scheme of this palette what it's supposed to be, and that's the idea of these Bad Habit palettes, is that they're supposed to relatively look like and perform like the original palettes, and I think it's really beautiful. Honestly, I like the layout of this palette more than the Norvina palette. I wasn't crazy about the whole like shimmer and matte rose like being completely separate. I just wasn't like wild about that. I like when it's kind of like mixed and matched around a little bit more. I don't know, that's just me. I personally did not purchase the Norvina palette because, let's be honest, I don't have that much disposable income to just buy a $40 palette for no reason. So this one was $16. I did order this off of Bad Habit's website. This should be available on the Hush app before too long. Normally all of the Bad Habit palettes and products and things go onto the Hush app after a little bit of time has gone by. So I don't think it's on the Hush app quite yet, but it should be very soon. And what's great about the Hush app is the last couple times I've ordered from them, they don't charge for shipping and they don't charge tax. So it's like a $16 palette is a $16 palette, no shipping, no tax. Usually, I'm not sure. Has that been your guys' same experience? Because I'm not really sure. But back to the packaging. So it's relatively the same size here. I have my Modern Renaissance palette to compare for you guys so you can see that the Modern Renaissance is slightly wider than the Luna palette, but the Luna palette is a little bit longer. So it's relatively the same shape. You can't bend these palettes all the way back like you can do with the Modern Renaissance, which I love when you can bend palettes all the way back, but it's okay. The packaging is still really beautiful. It's that really nice soft touch like black. It's super nice feeling. On the back you have all the names, but we have all the names on the front too, so I don't really know why they put all the names on the back. Real quickly, I just wanted to mention, I've mentioned this whenever I've done these dupe type videos in the past, but typically you get more product with this kind of palette. I don't know if it's just because the pan size is bigger or what, but obviously these aren't the same palettes, but for size comparison, you can kind of see that the pans on the Bad Habit palette are slightly larger than the Anastasia one. So with the Modern Renaissance palette here, it's kind of hard because they like label the product weight for these two palettes differently. So I think this one includes the entire weight of the packaging. This one just includes the weight of the product, but this one does say that you get 0.02 ounces for each eyeshadow shade, which if you multiply that by 14, which are how many shades are in the palette, you get 0.28 ounces of total product within the Anastasia palette. So for the Bad Habit palette, it says you get 0.47 ounces of total product. So if we divide the 0.47 by 14 shades, that comes out to be 0.03 ounces of each shade. So you do get 0.01 ounces more product within the Bad Habit palette. So just another thing to consider if you're on a budget. So I don't want to get into the whole politics of copying someone else's design. I talked about that in my previous dupe videos, but basically you can think what you want. If you don't agree with it, that's totally your call. If you think that it's fine, I'm not gonna judge you. I think more recently, I think it's fine just because someone brought up the point in my last video that designer things get copied all the time, like all the time. So whether you even really realize it, you probably have designer dupes in your clothing, in your handbags, in your shoes. You probably have some designer dupes. Brands always copy other brands' designs. That's just really something that you cannot avoid. So regardless of if you're aware of it or not, you probably have some high-end dupes within your whole wardrobe, makeup, shoes, purses, whatever. You probably have some high-end dupes, even if you're not aware of it. So that's just kind of my thought on it is, yeah, it kind of sucks that they're taking credit for someone else's design, but really that's what the whole fashion and makeup industry is about. That's just what everybody does. Everybody's always copying each other's designs, tweaking it a little bit, calling it their own, you know, it happens. So I've kind of come to terms with it that it's gonna happen regardless. Not all of us can afford the Gucci handbag, so we gotta get the other one instead. And hopefully once it's blended out on the eyes, it's gonna look exactly the same. So that's the hopes going into it. Sorry this was a little bit rambly, but I just wanted to like touch on a couple points before we actually get into the makeup look. All right, so first things first, I want to swatch all these colors on my arm for you guys. Per usual, I'm not gonna put any kind of product on my arm whatsoever. I'm just gonna go through and swatch each of these shades. So before I get into swatching these colors, here is an up close look at this palette. So I'm just gonna go through the shades in order here. We have Crescent, my skin tone shade, Waxing, Opaloon, I'm not really sure how to say that one, Penumbra, High Tide, Wanting, Aphelion, don't know how to say that one either, Eclipse, Meridian, Mar, Half Moon, Basalt, Supermoon, and Dark Side. So these are all the swatches for the palette. I'm not sure how this shade performs in the Norvina palette, but that one seems a little bit chunky glittery to me, as does the Half Moon shade. That one is a little bit better, but still seems a little bit chunky glittery. The rest of them seem to be pretty good, actually. Pigment is there, but we can't really judge the shades until we get them blended out onto the eyes. So I'm not really sure the look that I want to go for with this palette today. I kind of had the thought of looking up some other people's looks. All right, so I'm gonna go over to Instagram here and I'm gonna search for Norvina palette. All right, so there's lots of really pretty looks, but I think I like that first look that I saw the best by Roxanne Sadowska. Such a pretty look. So it's definitely a little bit more pinky. Yeah, she doesn't have a tutorial on this look, but I'm just gonna try to like wing it and get as close to this as possible. So Roxanne Sadowska, you are getting a new follower and you have amazing makeup looks. It actually looks like a pretty simple look. Like, I mean, it's beautiful, but it actually looks pretty simple. So before we get started on this look, we are going to prep the eyes using a little bit of Tarte Shape Tape. Finally just got a new one of these. So relieved because I was scraping the sides of my other one. It looks like the first shade she goes into is this kind of more satiny. It's not quite matte, it's a little bit more satin and it's got a little bit of glitter in it. This one here. Okay, so she brings it all the way down in the inner corner. She's got it going pretty high up here too. And it looks like she's kept it pretty round on the eye. It's such a pretty shade, actually. So we've got that shade nice and blended out. That looks really beautiful. That was so easy to apply actually. It looks great. And I really didn't even go in with a ton of product here. So now I'm gonna switch brushes, and it looks like she may have gone in with either this matte kind of purple shade or this grayish kind of brown shade here. So I think I'm gonna go in with this one first, right underneath the pink. I mean, they're definitely kind of shimmery. So they're not matte shades, which is weird because I never work with shades that aren't matte this high up on the eye. But it's blending out nice and easily. It's always hard to tell just based on a picture what is going on, because you really can't tell until like the whole look comes together at the end, especially because she's got like a cut crease. Based on her look now, which this palette just might have a little bit different formulations of these shades, I'm thinking she probably went in with that gray shade instead of the purple, but that's okay. There's like a little bit, but I'm actually surprised by how little is actually on my face right now. Taking a shimmer shade up so high using a dry fluffy brush, typically I get a little bit more fallout with that. We're gonna continue on. I'm gonna continue using the same really small brush, and we're gonna go in with this brownish gray. And this is definitely a matte shade, for sure, for sure. I'm just gonna build this right on top of the purple. Maybe this will tone down some of that shimmer, which again, I have not tried the Norvina palette. I've only swatched it, a few of the colors in store, so I can't really be sure of like the consistency on how those shades perform, you know, versus this palette. But what I can do is just tell you guys whether or not this palette itself is good. So we're just gonna give you guys the thumbs up or the thumbs down whether or not this palette is actually good and worth your money. Quite like how that's looking. And her look, it looks like she just has a hint of purple, so I'm kind of going over the top of the purple. I really like the shade that I'm working with right now. I mean, it still kind of looks shimmery, but I think the matte shade helped to tone it down quite a bit. I think it looks pretty good. So far, I think for me, I wish that this shade and this shade were just matte shades, but that's just my personal opinion. They're kind of like satiny with a little bit of glitter. We're gonna cut this crease out, and it looks like she kind of does, like she goes in to the inner corner here, and then it looks like she kind of swoops it out a little bit at the outer corner. Let's see how quickly we can do this. And I literally say this in every video, but I'm not a professional at cut creases whatsoever. So I think that shape's pretty similar to what she did. I'm gonna post this on my Instagram and tag her in it, and we'll see if she sees it. So while that's still wet, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this side. It looks like she probably used one of these two shades, and it's really kind of hard to tell. Ooh, it's really hard to tell which one she used. I am going to use this one. I am just going to tap it down. That's a really, really pretty shade. When I was putting my cut crease, I moved my eye, so I kind of have the shape is like a little bit higher than my natural crease line, but that's okay. You'll just see it a little bit more when my eyes are open. So I'm gonna take another little small flat brush, dampening it slightly with a little setting spray. So I think she definitely used the more bronzy shade on her lid. Now that I'm putting this on here, yeah, she definitely used the other shade, 1000%. Okay, so I'm gonna catch up this eye real quick, and then we'll be back to do the lower lash line. All right, so both eyes are caught up. I think they look pretty good right now. And I think this side looks better than this side. I think I just didn't do them like perfectly evenly. So then to finish up this look, it looks like she just went back in with that pink shade and kind of did that all over the lower lash line. It looks like that's it. And she's kind of got it like sweeping out and connecting out here a little bit. Typically, ABH palettes have a decent amount of kick up in the pan, but I just wanted to show you guys there's like, it's got a good amount of kick up in there when you go into the shade. It flicks up a good amount of the color. Same thing with this one and this one. All right, now that we've got that shade all on the lower lash line, I'm gonna go ahead and say that she did not use that purple shade in this look. I'm thinking she just did the pink and then the grayish brown shade and then her cut crease, because her look is much more pink and mine is a little bit more purple. I think I should take a little bit of the purple on this brush just so we can like tie it in, because her whole look is more pink and mine is more purple. Okay, I think that a little bit of purple helps a little bit. So I'm gonna pop on just a really little thin line of eyeliner. I'm gonna pop on some lashes and then we'll be back. So lashes are on. So I don't know that I love these lashes. Normally I love everything that House of Lashes puts out, but these are the Demure Lite. I think they're like a newer style. I don't know that I like these. They're very straight and they're not really like, well, they're not like round enough. So maybe after I wear them a couple of times, I'll like them a little bit more, but let's go ahead and finish this look now with a little bit of inner corner highlight. So we're gonna go into this shade here. Anytime I'm doing a cut crease, adding inner corner highlight just really helps the whole situation. Just a pinch on my brow bone as well. All right guys, so this is the completed look with the eyes all finished. I think it looks pretty like good. It's not my normal like cup of tea taking like shimmers that high on the lid. Like this is just a almost completely like shimmer look. I mean, we have more metallic lids, but that's still, the rest of it's still a little bit shimmery too. So it's not like my normal cup, but I still think it's really pretty. For this palette, I think that it is obviously a very beautiful palette. I think all of the shades that we use applied really nicely. Like I said, I wish that this purple and this pink were a little bit more on the matte side, but I think that was the case in the Norvina palette as well, that some of the shades that looked like they were more matte were actually a little bit more satiny. So I think that they kind of tried to do the exact same thing with this palette here. Just for me personally, I wish they were matte, but you know, if you like more satin shades, which a lot of people do, I think that those are nice shades. Everything applied really nicely to the eyes. I mean, I had very minimal fallout. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 like purely matte shades in this palette. I think they tried to really match the consistency of the Norvina palette, and I think that they did a good job duping that palette. I'm definitely gonna play around with this some more and try to create a couple more looks where I can definitely get into some of those matte shades. But I mean, all the other Bad Habit palettes that I have used before, all of their matte shades are really, really nice and pigmented and creamy, and they just apply really nicely to the eye. And this palette seems to have that same kind of consistency within the matte formula. So I really like that. I think it applies really nicely. And I think Bad Habit's quality is very, very nice overall. This is the third Bad Habit palette that I have tried, and I'm impressed every time with the quality. I think that it's really nice. So if you're really into the Norvina palette and that's just not something that you could afford at a $42 price tag, you can get this palette. I think you would be happy with it. I think it is a very nice dupe, and this one comes in at just $16, and the packaging is just covered in my fingerprints, but it's beautiful. I'm impressed with the palette. I think it's great. I'm definitely going to be getting some good use out of it. I'm going to try again to create a couple more looks, and I'll probably post them over on my Instagram. So if you guys want to see my other looks, definitely follow me over there. That is just about it. I hope that this review and demo was helpful for you if you are thinking that you might want to try this palette out for yourself. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe before you leave. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in my next video.